All right, guys, a short vid. I just want to give some examples of the kinds of setups the group looks for in the chat room on a daily basis. Today, USB was one of them. Now, several people put this kind of on notice or put this on our radar just because it gapped up. These are 15-minute candles, by the way. It just kept selling, selling, selling. When it took out this 2 or 3 day low, to me, it had come too far to be thinking, well, it's breaking a 3-day low, it's time to short. Plus, if you go to the daily, which I'll do here, it had bounced nicely off of, let me get a trend line or a horizontal line going here. All right, see back here? It had, 40 was resistance. Then it pushed below, but came back above 40 there. Support again here. And so this kind of intraday move to get all the way down to that 40 area was really compelling to me to start to look for a long. Again, I don't want credit. Several people posted it in the room that, hey, let's look for a bounce around 40. But I totally agreed. So let's go back to a shorter term time frame. Okay, 5-minute candles here. Look what happens as it approaches 40. Pushes right down through it. One of the biggest volume candles of the morning. Now to me, yeah, shorting down here is silly. But then it chops around. You don't really have any kind of clean setup. Okay, but once you get choppy on 5s and around a whole number, especially a whole number divisible by 10 like 40, you get a really good battle going on. Look at the volume there. A simple way to get around that, and you try to look at that and say, well, what's the proper entry? This is going to sound like an oversimplification, but when you're in an area of support, you've got a really long daily candle that you know is oversold, okay? Clean it up. Just go to a longer time frame, all right? There you go, 15-minute candles. Now, if you're a trader at all, you know how clean and narrow and pretty this 15-minute candle looks, right? And if you notice, since the gap up and all morning, it had not broken a previous 15-minute candle's high. But now you've got a nice narrow candle. You've got that whole number, that support. And I just simply called this long over 40.04, over this candle with a low of day stop, which was 39.89. Okay, so that is what, 15 cents risk? And there's the trigger, and look at the volume coming in. And this thing makes it all the way back up to 40.80 something by the afternoon. But you had, after the first hour of climbing, you had another 2 or 3 hours. You could have at least, taken 1 or 2% from the trade. And if you had the wherewithal to hold off and then sell into this shape, we do teach people, if you're in something and you can see it better on 5s, and you get upside shape, that's a great place to sell too. So anyone that held this throughout this whole sideways move, or maybe held half, that's a great place to sell the rest into that shape. But it's a simple technique. You take the choppiness out of it. You take all the nerves out of it, right? And then you just say, hey, here's the trigger, here's the stop. Therefore, how many shares should I buy, expecting to get stopped out? So you keep it within your comfort zone, position size wise, okay? Couple other kind of setups that we look for that worked today. Let's see, Iron Mountain. Okay, CBS got news about a spinoff getting REIT status from the IRS, something like that. And anything that's ever been waiting on REIT status just took off, okay? But at this point, when IRM got up here, you see the little topping tail there, a little indecision candle, and it was hitting the 200 period moving average on 60-minute candles, which you can't see here. It felt like people were chasing, all right? So I just went ahead and called it short below this candle right down here. The low of this candle, 27.42. So 27.41 was the short idea, high of day stop. And it pretty much sold almost the rest of the day. A little bounce there at the end. Plenty of time to put some money in your pocket there. And then a couple more examples. I don't have that many examples to show you because this is just, from today's trading. I could go back over the last couple weeks and show a ton, but I didn't want to make a long video here. Just another example, though, we didn't even have this thing on watch, and all of a sudden one of our members posts that OAS is getting what we call upside shape. You can kind of see the shape change there, getting ahead of itself. Normally we would look to short that on like probably 2-minute candles, which would have been a short below that candle, would have been nice. I didn't follow through with that though, but I missed the short. It happened so fast, but then I went ahead and called a long right over this green candle right there with a stop right there. Let me get some arrows going. Now this doesn't look like much, was a nice little payday. There was the long, and I think the stop right below that candle. So Again, it doesn't look like much, but it was 46.69, stop at 46.51, and it did go to 40. Let me get the arrows out of the way. It did go to 47.02 at the end of the day, so without stopping out. And that's an example of just the teamwork in the chat room. I wasn't even watching OAS, right? It just showed up on our radar because it was getting shape. Kind of the same with Iron Mountain, POST. Somebody posted how busy this one was getting to the upside. When it came back down here, this is one of our green line plays. You see this green line right here? Love that for support. And I just called it long over this little hammer candle. It doesn't look like it moved much, but it was actually pretty good. 54.37 entry right there. And it made it to almost 55. It went to 54.89. So it doesn't look like much, but a nice little trade there. Geez, let me see if I have anything else. I called Yahoo as an early trade today. After the gap up, my thinking was shorts that shorted the open are probably on any kind of bounce going to start to cover and at least give us a good quick long trade. Now, anytime this is these are 2 minute candles. So this is 8 minutes in. Anytime I take an early trade, I'm a scalper, okay? So the entry was over this candle 36.56, and you can see what happened. Went pretty quickly to almost 37. It went to 36.95. Had a nice early trade in that. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'll leave it at that. Now, one of my favorite setups of all time that the group in our chat room is so good at finding is stocks getting intraday shape up into or down into the 200-day moving average. When we spot those, they get all of my attention, okay? And then I look to go long or short. I look to fade the move if it's made a big intraday move to hit the 200-day. It doesn't happen every day. We don't find a great setup every day, but when it does, it garners all my attention because those can be great trades. Unfortunately, I don't have one from today to show you, but look for videos highlighting those in the near future because we almost always find them when they happen, and they give great trades. So, all right, I'm going to quit babbling. There's just a little window into some of the stuff we do. There's a lot more to come.